Child, before you receive these words, answer me one question in the comments. What battle in your life hurt you the most, but also taught you something you never expected? Now listen closely, because I am speaking to the depth of your spirit. The battle that broke you, the one that drained your strength, the one that made you question your worth and your purpose. Yes, that very battle was shaping something inside you that you could not see at the time. You looked at the pain and thought it was ending you, but heaven looked at the same moment and called it the beginning of your becoming. You survived days you were convinced would crush you. You walked through moments where your heart felt too heavy to carry. You woke up during seasons where you had no answers, no clarity, and sometimes no hope, but you still moved forward. Child, that perseverance is not small. That endurance was seen, recorded, and honored in heaven. Your survival was not weakness. Your survival was victory. The breaking point you remember so painfully was not a moment of defeat. It was a moment of transformation. Something inside you cracked open, not to destroy you, but to release the strength, wisdom, compassion, and resilience that had been waiting to emerge. You were being reshaped by a pressure you did not choose, yet it refined you more deeply than comfort ever could. I saw how tired your spirit became. I saw the nights where you questioned if things would ever get better. I saw the moments when you tried to hide your pain because you didn't want to burden anyone. I saw your heart trying to stay soft while circumstances tried to harden it. And through every second of that struggle, I was closer than you realized, holding you, guarding you, strengthening the parts of you that felt like they were falling apart. Child, the breaking you experienced was not a sign that you had failed. It was a sign that you were being prepared. Your spirit was stretching to hold more. Your heart was expanding to love deeper. Your faith was maturing in ways that require pressure, not ease. What looked like collapse was actually construction. What felt like loss was actually foundation. And what appeared to be the end was actually my hand building the beginning of your elevation. You must understand, your battle did not weaken your calling, it validated it. The intensity of what you faced was proof of the greatness inside you. The enemy does not fight small stories. Pressure does not rest on people without purpose. You were attacked where your destiny is strongest. You were wounded in the place you are called to rise. You were shaken in the area you are meant to transform. But child, you did not break beyond repair. You broke open into growth. And now you are standing at the threshold of a season where the very battle that tried to destroy you becomes the platform I will use to crown you. The pain that once made you question my plan will soon become the evidence of why my plan was necessary. The heaviness that once crushed your spirit will soon become the testimony that strengthens others. The darkness you walked through will become the light you carry. Success is not something far away. It is so close that it is already brushing against your spirit. You can feel the shift even if you cannot explain it. You can sense the change even if your environment hasn't revealed it yet. You can feel hope rising again, even if quietly. That is the touch of breakthrough. That is the nearness of victory. That is the crown forming where the wound once was. Child, the battle that broke you is the same one that will lift you. Child, before you receive these words, answer me one question in the comments. What part of your past struggle still feels unresolved inside you? Now listen, because I am taking you back through the very places where you felt the deepest wounds. Places you tried to understand, places you tried to forget, places you carried silently because you didn't know how to explain the heaviness they left behind. You walked through a season where everything felt harder than it should have been. You faced challenges that seemed unfair, losses that cut deeply, and delays that wore down your hope. And at times, you wondered why the hardship lingered so long, why relief didn't come quickly, why breakthrough felt just out of reach. But child, I was doing more behind the scenes than you realized. There were moments when I allowed certain battles because they were building the strength you would need for the calling attached to your future. There were relationships that ended not to hurt you, but to protect you. There were doors that closed not because you failed, but because the timing was not safe for what I am preparing. There were prayers that seemed unanswered because the answer at that time would have pulled you off the path I designed. You thought the delay was a sign of abandonment, but the delay was alignment. You thought the silence was distance, but the silence was strategy. You thought the loss was punishment, but the loss was protection. And while your heart ached through it all, I was guarding you from battles that would have destroyed your spirit if they continued. Some storms were allowed to refine you, others were prevented entirely. You have no idea how many unseen battles heaven fought on your behalf while you thought nothing was happening. Child, you did not see the spiritual warfare surrounding your life during your hardest seasons. But I did. I saw the attacks against your identity, your confidence, your peace, your relationships, your future. I saw how the enemy tried to convince you that you were weak, forgotten, or unloved, hoping you would give up on the very promises I spoke over you. But you held on, even when it hurt, even when it felt pointless, even when you were tired, even when you felt unseen. That endurance didn't just get you through the battle, it transformed you within it. Your pain produced strength you didn't know you had. Your confusion produced discernment. Your loneliness produced depth. Your waiting produced patience. Your heartbreak produced compassion. Your fear produced courage. The growth you gained in that season was not visible right away, but it was powerful. You became someone who listens differently, loves differently, prays differently, hopes differently, sees differently. You became someone whose spirit learned how to stand even when everything tried to knock it down. And child, that growth is why the battle did not break you, it built you. There is a reason the struggle felt so intense. The enemy saw the potential you couldn't yet see. He saw the influence you would carry, the wisdom you would gain, the resilience you would develop, and he tried to stop it early. But he failed. Not because you were strong on your own, but because you were held, protected, and guided every step of the way. Nothing you endured was wasted. Every tear watered the soil of your future. Every disappointment made room for redirection. Every closed door cleared the path for the right one. Every setback shaped your spirit for what comes next. Child, when you look back at your battles, you must understand. They were not moments of abandonment, they were moments of construction. I was building you for elevation. I was shaping you for influence. I was preparing you for the very crown the enemy tried to prevent you from wearing. The battle that once made you feel small has now made you spiritually unshakable. And everything you survived is now becoming the foundation of the success that is already reaching toward you. Child, before you receive these words, answer me one question in the comments. What is one victory you hope to experience that feels impossible right now? Now listen, because I am revealing a truth your spirit has been sensing, but your mind has not yet fully understood. The very battle that wounded you, drained you, and pushed you to your breaking point is the same battle that is now preparing to crown you. What once looked like devastation is becoming the ground on which your elevation will stand. What once felt like the end is becoming the evidence of your beginning. Child, the pain you endured carved depth into you, depth that will now support the weight of the blessings I am releasing. The tears you cried softened the soil of your spirit, allowing seeds of wisdom and compassion to take root. The confusion you walked through sharpened your discernment. The heartbreak expanded your ability to love with greater clarity. The loneliness taught you to hear my voice above every other. The fear forced you to discover courage you never knew you carried. Nothing shaped you more powerfully than the battle that nearly broke you. And now, that very battle is becoming the crown I place upon your life. A crown of survival, of maturity, of authority, of identity. Not a crown forged by ease, but one forged by endurance. Not a crown born from perfection, but a crown born from persistence. Not a crown made from victories you won effortlessly, but from victories you won trembling, crying, and pushing forward even when you thought you had nothing left. Child, elevation is not born from effortless seasons. It is born from the fires you walked through and came out wiser. It is born from choosing hope when despair was louder. It is born from trusting me when you could not see the purpose. It is born from standing when everything inside you wanted to collapse. These moments built something in you that comfort never could. They formed the version of you that is ready to carry what I am releasing. Understand this. I do not crown my children for avoiding battles. I crown them for surviving them. I crown them for staying faithful when it was easier to quit. I crown them for believing in the dark what I promised in the light. I crown them for rising again after pain tried to bury them. I crown them because their perseverance revealed who they truly are in me. The authority that is coming upon your life is not accidental. It is earned through endurance. It is strengthened through pain. It is refined through fire. You will speak with a power that comes from experience, not theory. You will lead with compassion because you know what it feels like to be hurting. You will make decisions with clarity because you have seen what confusion can cost. You will walk with confidence because you have stood in places where fear once whispered lies. Child, the glory that is coming will rest on the very places where you once felt defeated. The miracle that will unfold in your story will grow from the soil where your deepest wounds once bled. I am turning wounds into wisdom, battles into breakthroughs, pain into purpose, and pressure into promotion. This is why the battle felt so personal, because the crown will be personal too. You are stepping into a season where the same areas where you struggled most will become the areas where you rise highest. The same places where you were tempted to give up will become the places where you testify. The same wounds that made you feel fragile will become the strength that others lean on. The same storm that tried to drown you is now becoming the platform from which you will stand tall. Child, hear me. You are not being lifted despite the battle. You are being lifted because of it. The crown forming over your life is the proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you, and that you are now ready to carry the success that is already reaching toward you. Child, before you receive these words, answer me one question in the comments. What is the one sign you've been praying for that would tell you your season is finally shifting? Now listen, because you are standing in a moment of transition, one that is already unfolding in ways you may not fully recognize yet. The heaviness that once pressed on your spirit is loosening. The confusion that clouded your path is thinning. The fear that once controlled your decisions is weakening. These are not coincidences. They are indicators that the battle is no longer shaping you through pressure, but through purpose. You are entering the phase where what was breaking you is now releasing you. Child, I am lifting the weight that has been sitting on your heart for far too long. You have carried burdens that were never meant to stay with you permanently. You have battled thoughts that came from exhaustion, not truth. You have walked through seasons where peace felt distant, clarity felt impossible, and hope felt fragile. But all of that is shifting. The old season is closing, and the new one is already touching your spirit. You may not see the full transformation yet, but you can feel its first breath. Moments of unexpected calm, sudden waves of clarity, or a renewed sense of strength that surprises you. These shifts are not emotional spikes. They are spiritual signals. They are me preparing your heart for the doors that are about to open. Child, this transition will not look like the seasons behind you. The battles that once exhausted you will no longer drain you the same way. The thoughts that once spiraled into anxiety will begin losing their power. The insecurities that once echoed loudly will fade beneath a new confidence rising from the growth you gained in the fire. I am giving you a renewed mind, one that sees possibilities where fear once saw threats. I am giving you a renewed spirit, one that stands with strength where weakness once trembled. I am giving you renewed vision, one that recognizes direction where confusion once lived. I am giving you renewed confidence, one that knows you were shaped for this next chapter. This shift is not coming. It has begun. Doors that were once closed will begin to open naturally, not through striving, but through timing. Conversations that were once impossible will unfold effortlessly. Opportunities that once intimidated you will now feel aligned. You will sense my presence in your decisions with a clarity you've never experienced before. Even the way you carry yourself will change. Lighter, steadier, more grounded in who you have become. Child, understand something deeply. The pressure had a purpose, and now the release has one too. I am removing the weight not because the battle is over, but because you have already won the part of it that mattered. You learned what you needed to learn. You grew in the ways you needed to grow. You developed the strength your next season requires. There is a reason you feel a quiet shift, a reason you are sensing hope return, a reason you feel the stirring of new beginnings without seeing them fully yet. You are stepping into alignment, and alignment always comes before manifestation. Do not be surprised when you wake up one day and realize the burden that once crushed you no longer has the same hold. Do not be surprised when peace settles over you suddenly. Do not be surprised when opportunities appear in places that once felt barren. The transition is already unfolding. Child, the part of your story that once felt like breaking is about to become the part that carries you forward. You have stepped into the chapter where the heaviness lifts, the clarity rises, and the crown begins to form. The shift is real. The change is happening. And nothing will remain the same. Child, before you take in these words, answer me one question in the comments. What is the success you are afraid to hope for because it feels too close and too big to believe? Now listen, because I am uncovering something your spirit has already begun to feel. Success is no longer distant from you. It is not something you are chasing. It is not something hidden behind endless obstacles. It is already brushing against your life, already moving toward you, already aligning itself with the steps you are taking. What you have been sensing lately, that quiet anticipation, that subtle shift, that unexplainable peace, is the touch of breakthrough resting on your future. Child, success has been drawing near long before you realized it. You think you are waiting for it, but it has actually been waiting for you. Waiting for your spirit to heal, waiting for your heart to strengthen, waiting for your mind to mature, waiting for your faith to deepen. If success had come during the seasons when you were breaking, you would have questioned it, doubted it, or sabotaged it. But now, the strength you built in the fire has become the exact strength needed to carry what I am releasing. You have outgrown the version of yourself that couldn't hold this blessing. You have outlasted the battles that tried to delay your purpose. You have overcome the fears that once paralyzed your steps. You have survived the storm that should have ended your journey. And because of that, success is not arriving in fragments. It is arriving in waves. Child, the nearness of breakthrough is why you've been feeling those sudden surges of hope, those unexpected moments of clarity, those quiet confirmations that something is shifting. Your spirit can sense what your eyes cannot see yet. That is why your heart feels different, lighter, more aware. You are standing close, so close, to the very thing you prayed for through tears and perseverance. I am aligning doors you thought were permanently closed. I am releasing opportunities that once felt unreachable. I am positioning people who will open paths you never imagined. I am restoring what life tried to take from you. I am breathing life into dreams you buried to protect your heart. Child, you are entering the space where success begins to reveal itself in pieces before it reveals itself in fullness. You will see signs, confirmations, small victories, unexpected blessings, and moments of unmistakable alignment that show you the shift is real. And each one will whisper to your spirit, it's closer than you think. Success is already touching your life in the form of restored peace, renewed strength, and awakened purpose. It is touching you through new ideas, new desires, new clarity, and new confidence. It is touching you through opportunities that suddenly don't feel intimidating anymore. It is touching you through the courage rising inside you, telling you that you are ready for what once frightened you. Child, the crown forming over your life is not symbolic, it is real. The elevation, the influence, the stability, the growth, the favor, the opportunities, the breakthroughs, the healing, the restoration, all of it is aligning right now. The same battle that once made you feel disqualified is the very battle qualifying you for blessings you once believed were beyond your reach. You are not walking toward success alone. I am guiding every step. You are not guessing your way forward. I am placing your feet on prepared ground. You are not begging for what is coming. I am delivering what has been promised. Child, success is not on the horizon. It is at your doorstep. It is touching your life already. It is moving in your direction with a momentum you cannot stop. And soon, you will walk into the fullness of everything your battles prepared you to receive. Child, before you let these final words rest in your spirit, answer me one question in the comments. What part of your future do you want me to give you peace about right now? Now listen, because this final message is meant to settle into the deepest part of you. You have walked through seasons that challenged everything you thought you knew about strength, faith, identity, and purpose. You have faced battles that left marks on your spirit and questions in your heart. But even in your weakness, even in your fear, even in your exhaustion, you kept moving. That alone carries more meaning in heaven than you realize. Child, I was with you through the moments when you felt like you were breaking. I stood beside you when you were holding yourself together with trembling hands. I heard every whispered prayer, every quiet hope, every desperate plea you didn't tell anyone about. I watched you show up for life when you barely had the strength to rise. And through it all, I never once let go of you. You survived seasons that were meant to destroy you, and in doing so, you stepped into a level of strength that cannot be taught, only forged. That strength is what will carry you into the future I am preparing. The breaking did not define you. The surviving did not exhaust you. The rebuilding shaped you into someone capable of holding blessings that require depth, humility, wisdom, and resilience. Child, everything that once confused you will soon make sense. You will look back and see how every disappointment redirected you, how every closed door protected you, how every delay aligned you, how every loss cleared space for what is coming. Nothing was wasted. Every moment of hardship played a part in forming the person who is now ready for elevation. I am lifting the weight that has been on your chest for far too long. I am dissolving the fear that whispered lies about your future. I am restoring the confidence that battles tried to drain from you. I am healing the wounds that made you question your worth. Your next season will not resemble your past ones. Not in tone, not in atmosphere, not in outcome. You are rising into something new, something stable, something blessed. Child, I am crowning you not with temporary success, but with lasting purpose. You will walk with a spirit strengthened by fire, a heart healed by my presence, and a mind renewed by clarity. You will no longer chase what is meant for you. What is meant for you will call your name. You will step into opportunities aligned so perfectly that you will know instantly they were prepared specifically for you. And hear me clearly. You are not stepping into this new chapter alone. I go before you to prepare the path. I walk beside you to steady your steps. I remain behind you to guard what you leave. My presence is not a promise. It is your reality. Your life is surrounded by me from every side. Child, the battle that broke you has become the turning point that lifts you. The pain that confused you has become the wisdom that guides you. The suffering that shook you has become the strength that steadies you. And the journey that challenged you has become the testimony that crowns you. Success is not something you will stumble into. It is something you have been prepared for through every moment of endurance. It is closer than your doubts, stronger than your fears, greater than your imagination. It is already touching your life, already aligning itself with your steps, already breathing on your future. Walk forward with courage. Walk forward with expectation. Walk forward knowing that the God who carried you through the breaking is the same God who is crowning you through the becoming. Child, your story is shifting. Your crown is forming. Your success is approaching. And your future is already shining with the glory of what I have planned for you.